Some people say that this canyon is a place where Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and the Hole in the Wall gang hid out. In fact, many people believe this rustic cabin is the one the gang actually used to hide out in. Hi, I'm Bob Lance, your host for Creative Minds. Our guest tonight is Kent Seeger, co-owner of the Liberty Valley Log Home Company, high in the mountains above Ogden, Utah. Kent, along with his brother Bill and Bill's son Jim, design and build log homes much the same way as their forefathers did over 100 years ago. When these structures are completed, they are not just homes, but actual works of art, each one an individual creation. Let's take a walk up the hill and talk to Kent about building log homes. Kent, how did you get started in the log home building business?
Well, we got started building log homes 15 years ago after we were cutting timber in the Uinta mountain range, and had previously built a lot of 235 homes, remodeling nightclubs and whatnot, and we wanted a little different way of building.
And how is a log home built differently than a conventional home?
Well, a log home is so much more superior structurally than a conventional home, and you have so many different options in your design because each log is essentially an individual beam. So you can utilize the logs in your design and do a lot of different things that a conventional house wouldn't really show off as well. You know, using the natural timbers, the natural logs and stuff, you get more of an aesthetic appeal on the interior of the house.
Is living in a log home somehow different than living in a conventional home?
A log home is a lot nicer to live in because they seem to keep the cool in the summer, they stay warm in the winter, and psychologists say the horizontal lines are very appealing and relaxing.
How are the Liberty Valley log home building methods different than other log home companies?
An authentic log cabin like we do is all hand-peeled trees, lodgepole pine. They're full-length logs, so you don't end up with all the splicing. Each log is individual character-wise, and they're each hand-fit into one massive structure rather than just buying the small pieces of logs and fitting them together on the site. Our logs are all hand-peeled and erected first on our site, and then numbered, disassembled, and moved to the building site.
How is the beginning of the building process different than the completion?
In the beginning of a cabin, it's anxious anticipation, and in the end, it's we're glad that it's done, and it does look nice, you know.
And how does your own personal creativity influence the outcome of the log home design?
A lot of times the creativity is actually brought about by the customer. You know, they actually have different ideas than I may have with the ideas of how to do certain things, and in a lot of cases the customer has given us some ideas that we hadn't come up with, and then it's a matter of putting them on the drawing board and turning them into a reality situation where you can see it, you know.
Kent's description of log building was getting so interesting, we decided to go out to the yard for a while to show you how the process is actually done.
Guide's adjusted so that you know how deep it's going to go. In other words, that's how much the crack's going to be right there. scribe makes it possible so you can fit over knots or anything. Once it's scribed and cut, we can roll it in, check the fit, make sure it's properly aligned. Then we put a fence nail on each side so the customer can re-erect the kit and know exactly where that log goes. There's no question.
When you're finished building these, is it hard for you to let them go?
The hardest thing really is the fact that you can't really enjoy them all when they're all done and they're so far removed and whatnot. The best thing about it, I think, is probably the fact that my work is something that will be around for a long time. I feel sorry for people that have to work behind a desk and their work is basically paperwork and they don't really see any accomplishment for their efforts, where I'm happy that my work is very satisfactory.
Kent, you're describing the way that you build log homes much the same way as a sculptor or a painter might.
In reality, 100 years from now, each one of our cabins that have been built by our family organization will be more like a priceless piece of art than a cabin or a house that can face the possibility of being bulldozed over, because the uniqueness of each house is so individual that they will probably be cherished for long into the future.